this is the first of hopefully several other videos I'll make. And I'm making this video because I made a lab over the weekend, and I figured that I would at least run through the basics of it before I get too lost in the weeds and trying to fix everything and add more things on and completely forget to make a video or say, okay, this is a lot of stuff to record and go over, and so on and so forth. So, long and short of it is, I set up a basic Active Directory network here with a Exchange 2019 server and again, a basic domain, right? I made a quick dirty diagram for it, and I'll just go ahead and explain it. So I have this segment of the lab is isolated and set up specifically for this domain and any other domains I would want to set up in the future. I have things set up with a split DNS, so I have an external DNS server and an internal DNS server, and just so I can, well, practice my DNS chops. And that's been fun. It has taught me more about how DNS works, both externally and internally. All right, so let's go with the Active Directory network first. So, and bear in mind, I know I'm not following best practices with a lot of these because this is all just to learn, right? So we have our domain controller that's running, obviously, domain services, our DHCP server and a DNS server, and it's running a file share. Now, if you wanted to be really fancy, obviously all of those services could be not disconnected. What's the word? Distributed across multiple servers so that whenever I restart this domain controller, the entire network here would actually still have DNS. That, I suppose, would be a future project, and I think that would be a fun one to try as well, because then I can break things and, well, the network would still work. Right. And then, of course, our Exchange server, I chose Exchange 2019, specifically the cumulative update version 8, so I can go ahead and run a couple of different exploits against it, specifically a proxy shell. I did that last night, and it's cool. And it's more of a script kiddie really at this point in time, just running whatever Metasploit module has that series of exploits in it. But yeah, that was cool to be able to just go ahead and get a shell on the Exchange server. And also the server 2016, that one, once I find the appropriate CU for it, of course that's going to be proxy shell, no, proxy logon rather, and so on and so forth. And then of course our Windows 10 machine, that basic, obviously just connect to the domain, connect it to the file share, etc., have it download Outlook and access the Exchange server. Plus I can move it outside of the network. Let's say it's a laptop, somebody brings that in, takes it home, it's so on and so forth. Has to go and change the DNS server to the external domain, not to the external DNS server, so we can actually know where to go and where to look for the mail server, and I'll go over that configuration in a moment. But that was actually pretty cool, because I've never set things up this way before. Actually, I think this is the first time I've gotten the external DNS functioning properly. All right, then the firewall is VyOS, and I could have used, say, OpenSense or an AdGuard firewall or pfSense, but I chose VyOS specifically because it has a automation feature that I want to take advantage of in the future for use with Ansible and Packer. So I can build out an understanding of Packer and Ansible and make something vaguely similar to Lotus Cloud in a future point in time. Because I prefer to learn those things from the ground up. That way it's not just point and click and follow the instructions they have in the manual and done. I'd prefer to understand how things work and why things work, because that way I can just have a better understanding of things. All right, so the firewall has a couple of rules for it. I have a port forwarding set up for 2580, 143, pretty much all of the Exchange ports except for POP3. I have a SSH allowed from any of the LAN to the firewall, and of course we're blocking everything else that's coming into the network, except for whatever we've port forwarded. So, obviously, VyOS, nothing too special. All right, what is it? Show. Is it show? Yeah, it is. Cool. So, yeah, just some basic quick start guide is what I followed to a degree, right? I didn't set up the DHCP or DNS, set up the NAT, of course, firewall groups. I did the global state policies for this too. Incoming traffic, obviously, dropped. Management access. Yeah, and then that was just set up. And I did not set up any requests from the LAN, so I didn't need that, to be honest. Let's see. And then that was it. I didn't really do anything else. Should I? Yes. Did I just want it to get to a functioning state? Yes. Then, of course, we set up our dynamic NAT. And that's pretty much that for the firewall. Actually, probably can just, Q works. Cool. All right, and DomainController. Actually, I'm just gonna pop you open. Oh, cool. Just disappear on me. There you go. Now, I do have just basic passwords for everything right now. I have plus I have a couple of basic GPOs. This one that slightly delays the let's just go back to scope. There we go. And this one that delays the starting of the network for a minute. Well, not a minute, just for a few seconds. And another one that also, where did it go? Policy objects. I have, there it is. As I have a group policy as well to map drives, just one. I was using that to experiment with capturing hashes for, say, misconfigured file paths. And of course, the domain controller's name is not right because I forgot to change that, and I'm too lazy right now to change it. I'll figure that out later. But yeah, pretty much used Responder to try to capture some hashes. It didn't work, unfortunately. But that's for a future me to figure out. Where did it go? The share there is just basic stuff. The OpenMe is just a basic reverse shell that I tossed in the file share from Kali. I used MSF Venom to make that, just to test a few things. And I think, was it folder 1? Yeah, and then I tried to use, what was it? as an icon of some sort to try to capture hashes. Or when a user would run the shortcut. Yeah, that didn't work either. But that's a future thing. But trying to manually put in the share name worked, and I had a couple of things that worked that I forget about. Oh well, that's not the point of this video. Regardless, there's some basic containers. Well, OUs really. Just basic DNS. Right. Anybody that's been around long enough is obviously seeing all of this and sees it in their nightmares or dreams, whichever one. But no, pretty much set up mail records, CNAME, MX records for the mail server, and OWA and auto discover, which was honestly really cool to set that up on the Windows 10 machine and see it automatically log you in and set my mailbox and everything. That was actually really fun. And then DHCP, just basic stuff. All right, that's the domain controller and firewall. Exchange 2016. You're just just basic. I never even updated it yet. Didn't really want to. All right. Exchange. Boom, boom. And ignore the fact that I'm using a domain admin account to sign in. It's best practice, obviously. No, it's not. Right. So besides it, before I get to that, so obviously 2019 Exchange, it's pretty basic. The fun thing is, I guess, so I had disabled Defender at some point last night, I think. No, I disabled on Windows 10, not this server. But it did find the exploits I ran against it, and that was cool. But they're quarantined, so I'm curious to see what would happen if I ran the Exchange proxy shell on Kali again. But that's for future videos, I guess. Right, but yeah, pretty much for this guy, I just followed Microsoft's planning and deployment pages for this. Mostly system requirements were gone through, prerequisites were done. Joined ActiveDirectory, made sure the account had schema admin and was enterprise admin. And because I want to just finish this and just get it done, I just used a domain admin account and added it to those groups. Not what you're supposed to do, of course, but I wanted to finish this. Exchange server doesn't have any of the anti-malware or anti-spam protection enabled, except for just the very, very basic stuff that it has enabled by default. And that's it, really, for the Exchange server. Let's see. Windows 10. Cool. Lab user. Cool. Vulnerable version of Notepad for some future testing. And Outlook. Yes. Oh, so fun thing. I did not set up an SSL certificate yet for this. Oh, and before people ask again, so if you saw there, it's using .internal as the TLD. Obviously, you can't get SSL certs or TLS certs for your .internal domains. So I'm just going to have to set up my own certificate resolver and get certificates that way. No. Otherwise, just some basic things. Yeah. Oh, don't really care right now. And yeah, so since I have no other, I don't have DSPF, I don't have SPF, DKIM, DMARC set up on the external DNS servers, so I can send as whoever I want to pretty much whoever I want in the domain from the Kali box. But otherwise, yeah, there's your basic Exchange server. I'm quite happy to have set that up because, oh look, I can follow instructions and set up a server. Alright, which is good, I suppose. And then Kali, of course, what is it? Boom. Boom. Oh, I do still have a session. What is it, session 1, or was it? No, was it session 81? I don't remember. I haven't used Metasploit in so long. Yeah, don't really care. Regardless, actually, yeah, basic stuff. I was just looking at a proxy shell, proxy log, what was it? Yeah, proxy shell last night. It's remarkably simple, but of course, Defender did find and stop that a bit, which is good, I suppose. Not good for me if I'm an attacker, but it's good otherwise. Anyway, before I ramble on too much, yeah, that's it. Kali's on the external network, right? Nope. That, okay. Well, it's on the external network on .8 right now. Of course, it's one. Mail dot. What was it? Lab01 dot internal. I would look that up. Resolves there. It's just the basic DNS server, which is the next thing to look at. So the DNS server itself, it's can I zoom? I can. Okay, cool. Does it? Oi. Ugh. Alright. Zoom. Go larger, please. Just so people can see everything. Oh, yeah, there we go. Cool. Yeah, we'll do that. I have no idea if people can see that, by the way. Alright, but yeah, so I'm using Bind9 as the DNS server. It just works, right? I only have one zone. What is it? What was it? Conf, was it? Alright, conf wouldn't do it, but local would do it. Yeah, just, again, basic DNS. Simple zone file. And then, of course, just your basic reverse lookup file here. And there's a couple of things I would clean up, to be honest. I don't need to specify the entire domain name there, but it helps. The other thing I did learn too is the purpose of the periods at the end of the file is it goes ahead and tells bind, hey, this is the full FQDN, so you do not need to append FQDN to it. But otherwise, yeah, that's it. That's everything. The whole shebang, the whole kit and caboodle, you know. All right, you reset, please. There we go. That's better. Yeah, that's everything. That's the DNS server, that's the Exchange server, Kali, Windows, etc., etc. And so with that, I guess I will just see you guys next time.